What's up, everyone? So get this, back in 1659, the Puritans in Massachusetts literally made Christmas illegal. Like, if you tried to celebrate on December 25th, you'd get fined 5 shillings. Wild, right? Today we're diving into why the Puritans hated Christmas so much, and how it eventually became the family-friendly holiday we know today. This story's got everything: banned celebrations, drunken riots, and aggressive carolers demanding figgy pudding. Let's get into it. Chapter 1. Why the Puritans Banned Christmas. Alright, so to fully understand why this happened, we gotta look at the history of Christmas in the colonies. New England in the 1600s was basically a land of Puritan pilgrims who'd been cast out by Anglican England for their beliefs. These pilgrims had journeyed across the Atlantic to build their own world, a world that rejected most of the ceremonies and holidays kept by English society. Like many people today, early New Englanders feared that the festivities of Christmas distracted from what was really important. But Puritans took it way further. They weren't interested in celebrating Jesus' birthday at all. Even before the 1659 ban, New Englanders strongly discouraged Christmas celebrations. Historian Stephen Nissenbaum writes that in New England, for the first 2 centuries of white settlement, most people straight up didn't celebrate Christmas. We can see this in almanacs from Colonial New England, which listed super detailed info about every single day of the year, but made a point to not even acknowledge Christmas. They literally just ignored December 25th. The Puritans pointed out that the Bible never actually commanded anyone to celebrate Christ's birthday. They also argued that Christmas was inherently a pagan holiday, that Pope Julius only picked December 25th to basically steal Roman pagan festivals held around the same time. In reality, though, historians debate why or when Christians started celebrating Christmas on December 25th. There were likely a bunch of factors at play. Some scholars do believe that Christians chose a day close to pagan holidays to make it more acceptable to Roman society. But early Christians also had legit reasons to believe Jesus was born on the 25th. For instance, St. Augustine argued that Christ chose to be born on the winter solstice because of the symbolic nature of sunlight increasing after that day. But here's the thing. Perhaps the biggest reason Puritans were so anti-Christmas was that Christmas had been associated with total debauchery since the Middle Ages. Christmas was absolutely not family-friendly back then. Celebrators would consume crazy amount of alcohol, start riots in the streets, and completely flip social norms upside down. Even pro-Christmas Anglicans agreed that the season was linked to sinfulness. Bishop Hugh Latimer wrote that men dishonor Christ more in the 12 days of Christmas than in all 12 months besides. Clerics complained that people used the Christmas season as an excuse to drink alcohol all day and stuff themselves with food. They also criticized the social role reversals present in Christmas traditions. One of these traditions was called mumming. Men would dress like women and vice versa and visit neighbors' houses. However, the more dangerous form of role reversal was Christmas caroling, where the poor no longer served the wealthy. Bands of young men would sing carols in the streets and enter the homes of rich neighbors, demanding to be served food and drink. A lot of times there was this implicit threat of violence or bad luck if the wealthy host didn't give them what they wanted. That's actually the reason why "We Wish You a Merry Christmas," which has roots in 16th century England, seems so aggressive in its request for figgy pudding. They're basically demanding it. With or without Christmas, winter was already a time of year that encouraged rowdiness. English society was based around agriculture, and the end of the fall harvest meant newly fermented beer and wine and fresh meat. Once snow covered the fields, settlers found themselves with tons of free time to consume that alcohol and food. In short, Puritans felt no need to add Christmas traditions to the drunkenness and gluttony that was already happening in December and January. Chapter 2. How Christmas Made a Comeback. But slowly, attitudes towards Christmas were beginning to warm up. The 1659 Massachusetts Bay Colony ban on Christmas was actually repealed in 1681 under pressure from the British Crown. Pretty soon, British Christmas sermons and songs were being reprinted in Boston. And by the late 1700s, most of colonial society recognized Christmas as a sacred day. Only the old-school Calvinists still maintained that Puritan disdain for Christmas. These trends continued after the U.S. won independence in 1776. Several Christian denominations pushed for shops and schools to close on Christmas Day, try to make it an officially recognized holiday. But here's the kicker. In the end, we can partially thank commercialization for sustaining the domestic brand of Christmas we have today. American shopkeepers saw this golden opportunity to sell toys and started advertising them heavily. Poems like "'Twas the Night Before Christmas" in 1822 painted the modern image of Santa Claus we all know. Couple these trends with a less agricultural, more industrializing society, and the end result was a completely new kind of Christmas. A celebration less about boisterous post-harvest partying and more about spending a relaxing day with your family. Christmas basically got a total rebrand from rowdy drunken street party to wholesome family gathering. So yeah, the holiday went from being literally illegal to becoming one of the biggest commercial and cultural events of the year. Pretty wild transformation when you think about it. Oyudiaro. So there you have it. The wild story of how Christmas went from being banned in Puritan, Massachusetts to becoming the family-friendly, commercialized holiday we celebrate today. From aggressive carolers demanding figgy, putting to Santa Claus, bringing presents to good kids, Christmas has come a long way. Next time you're opening presents or singing carols, remember that our ancestors literally got fined for doing that stuff. History's pretty crazy sometimes. Stay curious, everyone. Peace out.